Hey, what's up, folks and jokes? This is Johnny from Johnny Loves Movies, and welcome to the Johnny Loves Movies podcast. That's going to be here on YouTube and on Apple and Spotify. If you're catching the live show, thank you. Please note that the live show will be taken down after a couple hours and put on my Patreon, the Johnny Streams Patreon, which will be made available hopefully within the next few hours or so. If it's not up on Patreon yet, I will leave this episode up unfiltered raw, just so you guys can watch it until that Patreon is set up. And today, we're going to be we're going to be reviewing two films here, Happy Gilmore 2, and we're going to be reviewing Fantastic Four, the latest film from Marvel Studios. So let's just get to our first film that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Happy Gilmore 2. Happy Gilmore 2 is the long-awaited sequel to the 90s film Happy Gilmore. This film, this time, is directed by Kyle Newacek. The first film was directed by Dennis Dugan, who's actually reprising a role that he had in the first one here in this sequel. I'm going to get to what I like. I'm going to get to what I did not like. And then I'm going to get to ultimately where I come at with this film for the rating scale. And right off the bat, I like Adam Sandler here, man. I think Adam Sandler still knows how to entertain, and he knows his core audience. All right. And that's something that I do admire about the Sandman, is that he knows what he is. He knows what his brand of humor is. And, if you rock with him, you rock with him. If you don't rock with him, you just don't rock with him. And I always loved that about Adam Sandler. And I continue to love that about Adam Sandler. And I continue to like his comedies. In my opinion, the last Adam Sandler comedy that I truly thought was like good, even though it was hated, but it's since become a cult feature, was That's My Boy in 2012. I could probably say that this is another Adam Sandler comedy that I actually really enjoy. I think it's the first Adam Sandler comedy since That's My Boy that I've really enjoyed here. And I really think that he still knows this character. He still cares about the Happy Gilmore character. And he's really actually delivering a performance here. Do I think that it's better than the first one? No, I do not. There are some certain decisions made in this film that I don't agree with. Certainly does not detract from my enjoyment of this film. I just know those things are here, and those things I do not enjoy about Happy Gilmore 2. I do like the fact, another positive is that Adam's always known to employ his family and friends and give them a little bit of a come up. And I really enjoy the fact that he looked out for both his daughters. We have one playing Happy's daughter, and the other one is playing another character. And I really do appreciate him giving his daughters that shout out, giving them that chance to come up and do their thing. And I really just admire that. And I've always admired that about Adam Sandler. Look, people like to make nepotism out to be a bad thing, and it certainly can be. But I just think that the nepotism used here, I don't know. I just feel like that's a positive and not a negative. So, that's another thing that I, value about this film. I think that when the jokes land, they land. I think there are a lot of humorous moments that are in this film here. I really do think that Adam Sandler really put some time and really put some effort into what he was doing when he was crafting the story here, when he was crafting a reason for Happy to get out of the game and to come back into the game. I really think that that's admirable. And I really just like the motivation behind it. And there are some moments. There are some moments that got me a little bit verklempt. if I'm honest with you. There were some moments that, like, my eyes started leaking. My eyes started to leak. And, I started to really feel the emotionality of what's going behind certain character moments. And I think that's definitely here. I do like the fact that it's not a phoned in performance by any means by anyone. Um, and, you know, um, it's just a good time. It really is just a good time. So in this film, Happy Gilmore 2, Happy uh, is retiring from his golf career due to some very sad reasons, and he's not in a good place right now. Happy is a bit of a drunk. Happy is drinking, and he's depressed because something tragic happened in between the first and this film. I'm not going to spoil that here. That took him out of the game. So Happy's been out of the game for a minute, for a while. And so when we find Happy, he is definitely not in a good place. Gone is his grandmother's home. Gone is the money, the expensive cars, the notoriety, the fame. Happy is at what we call rock bottom when we find him in this film. What we also find in this film is that Happy has a family. Happy is the father of five human beings. Happy has a daughter, four boys. Like I said at the beginning of this review, Happy's daughter is played by Adam Sandler's real life daughter. Um, and Happy. It's just sad in this opening overall. I know I said it a few times, but I just want to just reiterate that he is not our man. Our man is down bad. He's really down, really bad, and our man is he's just in a depressed place. So that's where we are when we meet the Happy Gilmore character. That's where he is in his life, and Happy is just trying to find some way um, to help his daughter figure out how to attend um, this prestigious school out in Paris, dance school. His daughter wants to be a dancer. 300K, needs to make the money quick, and so he gets back into golf. And then we have a movie. Shooter McGavin's in this movie. He's in this film. I like what they did with Shooter. I will say when I started watching the film that I was very taken aback with the choices that they made with Scooter in this first movie. From the first movie, in this movie, there were some things that like I didn't really agree with at the time, but upon rewatch and upon watching other people who've actually discovered this sequel, I have gone to appreciate the swing because they take a swing with the Shooter McGavin character. They take a really big swing too at that. So it was really just an adjustment period for this review for me when it comes to what they did with the Shooter McGavin character. And that actually is going to kind of lead into our negatives with this movie. I am not really that much of a fan of member berries. I'm not a fan of of callbacks, really. Um, for me, when it comes to doing basically what's a glorified clip show, essentially, in this movie, showing scenes from the first movie, it really takes you out of it, and it's just too many of that. It's too many Flashbacks, if you ask me. Too many moments where we're just revisiting we're revisiting that first film. It's just it's just it's not really something that I like when it comes to filmmaking. I don't like overuses of flashbacks. I don't like being reminded of like I'm gonna say in this case a better film. I don't like being reminded of a better film, and essentially, Happy Gilmore One is a better film than this one. And it's just kind of like, hey, remember this character? Remember this guy? Remember this? I did something like this, and then just like kind of like one of those Family Guy uh, cutoff gags, and it just like it just really just takes you out of this movie, and I just don't think that this movie really needed that. I mean, you have a charismatic star in Adam Sandler that I just feel that he doesn't need to use all these gimmicks because the audience is there because they love the first movie. They love the first movie, and that is why the audience is there. Um, and I just think that Adam, when he did this movie, and when he decided to make the decision of of adding the flashbacks in it, I just didn't agree with it. I didn't agree with it, and I just think that it ultimately kind of I don't want to say it hurts the movie because it doesn't hurt the movie in such a degree that um in such a degree that I'm like I said, I end up rewatching this movie, so it's not like a well I'm not going to watch this movie again type of deal here. I think this movie does have merit. I think this movie is fine. It's definitely where it needs to be. It needs to be on Netflix. It's definitely a Netflix feature. Um, and ultimately, let's see, what do I rate this movie ultimately? I think that the first Happy Gilmore, if you ask me on a scale to 10, I forget my own little rating scale here. I have so many different rating scales here. On Letterbox, I gave this movie a 3 star out of 5. So that would be 6 out of 10. Um, Maybe even 7 out of 10. Uh, I'm ultimately going to give this movie a 3 star rating. Um, I think that this movie is funny when it needs to be. When it's really not funny, it's really not funny. And I just think that the nostalgia tricks they use to um, as reminders ultimately really, really, really hurts this movie, and it keeps it from being um, a classic. It's just a sequel. It's there. I'll tell you, it's certainly better than like any of the Eddie Murphy sequels, like Coming to America. Um, it's certainly better than Dumb and Dumber 2 or Anchorman 2. You know what I mean? It doesn't lessen the original film, but it doesn't stand on its own. And so that's why I'm going to give this a 3 ultimately. All right, and from a movie that's a bit of a letdown, let's go to a movie that accomplished what it needed to do. A film that is truly fantastic. I'm trying to do his face. Am I? Am I pulling off? Pedro? Fantastic Four, First Steps. on the verge of making 200 plus million this weekend worldwide. On the verge of making 125 to 130 million this weekend. On the verge of being one of the best MCU films since Endgame. What else can I say that cannot be said about Fantastic Four? That's my little singing voice for you. What else can I say that has not been said? Fantastic Four, First Steps. It is the technically fifth bite of the apple. I know a lot of people forget about the 1994 Roger Corman film that was made just to keep the rights and was buried because AVA Red thought that movie was trash. Was the very first one. A lot of people like to think the Tim Story one was the first one. Uh, the Tim Story one was actually the second attempt. So you have four iterations. You know, you have them, the Tim Story crew, the Fan Forsted crew, and these guys now. But this is definitely the fifth attempt. Tim Story was the only one who was able to get a sequel, and obviously because this is now in the MCU, they're gonna get some sequels, and it's a good movie too. They definitely gonna get some sequels. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So you don't gotta worry about that. Mustache Reed Richards here. Yeah. He knew the assignment. Man, this is just a good time. I saw it twice. And the reason I saw it twice is because the first time I seen it, I was 30 minutes late. Not 30 minutes. Actually, when I saw it the second time yesterday, I realized I was actually only 20 minutes late. But whatever. I was 30 minutes late the first time, and I wrote my review. My review's on Letterboxd. But I said to myself, I'm not going to film my review until I see this movie in its completion because my audience needs that integrity. That being said, the first time, the movie felt hollow to me. Like I knew that I liked it, but it felt hollow. I didn't really buy into the bonds of the Fantastic Family. I really just love what I was looking at visually, but I really just couldn't connect to Reed Richards, Pedro Pascal character the first time I seen it, and he is the lead of the team, Mr. Fantastic, and I really just had a hard time buying in, but I liked it. I liked what I seen, and I said at the time, this was certainly the best iteration of the Fantastic Four that we've gotten. That's it. Watched the movie yesterday. Um, in its completion, was not late at all. In fact, I was 15 minutes early when I got to the theater. I was on a mission, and I can say now that I was wrong. I was wrong. I gave it a 3.5. I'm not going to redo it on Letterboxd, but I'll redo it here. I bumped it up half a point. It's 4 out of 5 stars, if you ask me. This is a perfect 8 of a movie. This, and what I noted the first time I seen it, I'm gonna note it here that the Fantastic Four, particularly this film, they nailed the premise. They nailed what it's like, the experience of reading a Fantastic Four comic book or even watching the cartoon. Because full disclosure, I am not a fan of the Fantastic Four. I'm not. To me, they just were too cerebral, too heady. I like my comic book simple, good guys stop bad guys, cops and robbers, all of that, right? Especially the Kirby age. They just dealt with heady stuff, and I just could not wrap my head around some of the concepts. that goes on in their books. So when when the first film came out, not the first, sorry, when it's technically it's the second, but when the Tim Story film came out in 2005, um, was when I kind of got into them, but I got into them on an animated sense. Didn't get really into them to their comics. So the Tim Story film got me into their other ancillary media, and I really liked them in that. But this film right here has gotten me into the comics. I'm doing a deep dive, especially in the Galactus trilogy that this is based on from the 60s, the original run. And I have the Marvel Unlimited app, which is a wonderful app, especially when you want to catch up on comic books. And I'm really getting into the stories that inspired this film because I really did enjoy this film. And from what I'm reading, um, this film is just one to one in tone, not in story, but in the tone of that arc. This is one one to one. The Kirby like illustrations, the out there space exploration. I am really just enjoying discovering the Fantastic Four as a property, as as a comic book property. And this film, they just nail who these characters are. And we have not gotten that in any iteration of the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. And so I'm really thankful that we got that here. I'm really thankful that um, it was obviously in the right hands with Marvel. Um, and they were able to make theirs stand out. Okay. So that would be my number one positive of Fantastic Four. First Steps. My other positive is I love the setting. I love the 1960s look of the film. Um, you know, I like the fact that they set it in this retro futuristic world. I actually like the retro futurism of this film. Um, I think that you had to set in the 60s before you brought them into the MCU that we know now of Earth 616 as they called it in the films. In this film, they're on Earth 828. But all the films starting from Iron Man all the way up to Thunderbolts, besides Deadpool and Wolverine, takes place on Earth 616. They're in their big multiverse saga, so in Avengers Doomsday, they're going to bring those worlds together. So I think that you had to set it in the 1960s background. Yeah, you heard that. Ooh, yeah, anyway, you have to set that in the 1960s background because you got to contextualize these characters. If you don't contextualize these characters, then unfortunately, they fall flat. They seem hokey. They seem out of place. Similar to why they had to set the very first Captain America, First Avenger, Captain America, First Avenger. Why they had to set that in the 1940s during the war when the character was created in the context of his creation, because if you set it within that context, then the character, when you bring them into a modern setting, they won't feel hokey. They won't feel corny. They won't feel out of place. And that's why I like what they did here with Fantastic Four. These guys, when we meet them, yeah, they don't seem cornballs. It seems kind of like this is what happens on Earth 828. So when you bring them to the Earth 616, these guys won't be cornball because we know who they are in this new setting. And that's going to be very interesting. So I love the 1960 aesthetic. It makes the film unique. It makes the film stand out. Another thing that I like about it, which is a vast departure from the other Fantastic Four movies. One was trying to be a David Cronenberg body horror film. The other was just trying to be a kids film where they fought Doctor Doom twice, basically. This film is a space adventure. This film is about family, is about togetherness. That is the core message of the Fantastic Four. You're going to follow that theme. That is their main theme. It's going to be an all properties family. But what I like about this is basically Interstellar. It's basically, what if we take Interstellar, but we put the Fantastic Four in? And I love the space exploration. The part where this movie finally clicks for me, where I'm like, I get it. I like this movie. It was on my second viewing, and it was when they were going to come and meet Galactus, and they're in space, which leads to an awesome space chase. That felt so much like the 1960 Jack Kirby Stan Lee comic books to me, where I just sat in my seat and I'm just like, I get it. I never got it all the way up to this point, but it's kind of like the same epiphany I had when I watched Superman 2 weeks ago, where I was sitting in my seat and I was just like, I get it. I understand now why people like this character. I understand why people like this first family. Like, I get it conceptually, but I never liked Superman as a character, right? So that movie kind of made me like Superman. Follow me on this. Fantastic Four, '05. You know, I had passing interest in the Fantastic Four. The '05 movie made me, okay, they're okay. This film right here, this film makes me love the Fantastic Four. Okay, it took me about 20 years, but I'm here now. I love the Fantastic Four now. I get it. And it is so cool that we live in a time where we have a Superman movie and a Fantastic Four movie, and you leave the theater and you're like, I get the popularity from the fans. I understand it now, and I like it. Like, this is a good time to be a fan of this stuff. And I know people like talk about superhero fatigue and all that, and I never believed in superhero fatigue. I just believe that the audience, they just want more. You know what I mean? It's bad movie fatigue. It's middle of the road movie fatigue. We want something like Fantastic Four that just stands out. You know, just stand out. And this film really has the visuals to stand out. They have oh my god, they have an all timer movie score by Michael Giacchino, who understood the assignment. He's the guy who actually does the main theme for Marvel. You know, the dun 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 dun. That's Michael Giacchino. So he understands the spirit of Marvel, and he knew the freaking assignment when he came and he did the score for this film right here. He knew the assignment, and you need people who know the assignment. And he got it, hook, line, and sinker. All time score, man. It's like my second favorite score behind Sinners this year. Um, really good music, really good music. I think that Ralph Ineson, who does the mocap for Galactus and is the voice of Galactus. Let me just clap it up for you, man. Let me just clap it up for you, man. He made a character who seems goofy on the page, and in the cartoons a little bit. He made a character like that menacing. His voice was terrifying. Like the seats in my theater were trembling whenever he spoke. Ralph Ineson, man, wow, man, this is the year, man. This is the year, man, where like three characters in comics that like I could give two issues about. You have the Sentry, Mr. Terrific, and Galactus, and we're just 3 for 3, man. Like three characters that like I just do not care about at all. Now I'm interested. Now I'm like, they got performers, they got good writing behind them, and they found a way to make these guys interesting. And Ralph Ineson in this movie as Galactus, man, I think he's one of the best introductory villains. Not I'm not saying best villain in Marvel. I'm just saying he's one of the best introductory villains in the MCU. The best villain for the first movie is definitely. I think he's up there. I think he's up there. I mean, he got to go against Killmonger. Killmonger was the villain of Black Panther. No one's gonna top that. No one's gonna top that as villain in the first movie. I mean, it might be one day. It should ain't today. And so where the film falters for me, where Fantastic Four stumbles a bit, is the runtime. I think that it could have been a little bit longer. There were a couple storylines that I felt like needed to be fleshed out, particularly between the Thing and this person that I think he has a crush with. I'm not sure who goes to his temple and teaches kids. I think there was a little bit too bit desired in that storyline. I feel like um, it was uneven. The first half felt uneven. The first time I seen the first half felt uneven because I missed the first 20 minutes of the movie. Having the first 20 minutes in the context of it, I still feel that unevenness, but I was entertained, I guess, holistically in the first half. But it really picks up once Silver Surfer comes, and then it just doesn't let you go. Like it grabs you by the throat and just holds on. So I think that when it comes to the overall pacing of the movie, um, I got a ding it on that. Tone. I know when the first time I seen it, I said the tone of the movie felt very cold. And upon seeing it the second time, now I can say the coldness is still there, but there's a lot of warmth. There's a lot of warmth into it, and so I think I would kind of walk that back a little bit. And then I was a little bit hard on Pedro Pascal. In my written review, I said that Pedro's casting was uneven, and like the film itself. I said there are moments and experience in the film where I was completely pulled out of it because it's Pedro. He's a big star. He's kind of a huge star to be playing Mr. Fantastic. Um, and while I still feel like that a little bit, seeing that additional 20 minutes, I was 50% there with the cast and the performance. I'm 75% now. Because that 25% you still see if you know Pedro as a performer. You still see some Pedro isms um, in his performance as Reed Richards. But I think he understands the character. I think he's the closest one out of the four actors to play Reed Richards. He's the closest one to understand the actual Reed Richards character. Like if I could rank the best ones out of this four who totally understood the character, I would have to go with Thing, Thing, Johnny, Sue, Reed. I think that um, there's a soft spokenness to Thing that wasn't portrayed in the other films. They got the gruff part down, but there's also a soft spokenness to Thing that I really feel that Eben, who plays him, really accomplishes in this feature. I think that while I like what they did with Johnny, um, they in other films they kind of just portray him as like this hot head loose cannon, and it's kind of like a "why are you there" type deal. But in this film, they kind of explain why Johnny's there. I mean, he's an astronaut, so he has to be smart. You know what I mean? And there is this like coolness about him. Like he's cool, but he's not too cool for school. That I like about him. Um, Vanessa Kirby, she nails Sue. She nails who Sue Storm is in the comics, and her nurturing nature is present. She has the most to do out of all the actresses who played Sue. Um, and then you have Pedro, who gets 75% of the character. You know, the other 25, I think we'll see in the next two Avengers films, and probably the sequel to this film. This movie's getting a sequel. Uh, so even though I still ding it, I'm not going to ding them too hard on it because now I've seen the movie in its completion. I really tell you, I'm leaning to or trending towards me really liking his Reed Richards character. Like I really like it. But like I said, it's just 25%. I'm like, nah, dude, that's you. Oh no. Like I said, this movie is a 4-star. Um, this movie gets the assignment. It's a solid B, just like Superman was a solid B. This is the best adaptation of this group of characters. Just like now, I'm gonna say I didn't say it in my Superman review, but now I'm gonna say just like how Superman was the best adaptation of the Superman character. I mean, I know a lot of people don't say Chris Reeve because he's the originator, but like they've really nailed who that character is, and even though Pedro is 75% there, he still mostly nails Reed, and I feel like they really nail these four characters. This is the first time these guys felt like a family. In those other features, they felt like work friends. This is the first time that they felt like an actual family. And so, because of that, I got to give this a 4 out of 5. But hey, that's just my thoughts. I want to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. Please subscribe to this, man. I'm going to have some of my stand-up stuff on here. We're going to definitely have more reviews like this. Be on the lookout on Tuesday. My cousin, Sir Sturdo Vision. He's going to be on here with another good friend, the Scene Snipes. The Scene Snobs is the Snipes. The Scene Snobs, Mick. He's going to be here, and we're going to just have a spoiler discussion of the Fantastic Four. 8 o'clock Tuesday. Should be fun. Please be here. Thank you for riding with me. Thank you for watching this. And like I said, this version is going to be on here for a couple hours. And then you're going to see clips on this channel. And then if you want to watch this in its completion, you can definitely go on my Patreon, Johnny Streams. If you just want to listen to it, it's going to be raw and uncut on my podcast feed on Apple and on Spotify. I am Johnny Loves Movies. Hello, hello, hello. You guys have a great night and the rest of your weekend, baby.